Hi, my name's Rachel and I'm here today to share with you a very quick butterfly design. It's incorporating sponge work and one stroke, so hopefully I'll be able to take you through it step by step and it'll be something you can recreate on the job. I'm often asked, how do I get my butterflies so in proportion and looking equal on both sides? And the quick trick to that, and it's something that I still do on the job now, not so much because my muscle memory's kicked in and, you know, after painting the 5,000th butterfly it suddenly clicks. But if you are nervous and you're struggling a little bit, and just grab a base white, so something like a Superstar or a Snazaroo, and just grab a quick brush and I'll quickly just show you how to place the butterfly on the face. We're looking at our focal point, which is here. So our focal point begins here, and what I mean by a focal point is that everything in the design always comes back to this point, okay, and that is what keeps it nice and balanced. Our top wings usually start from the beginning of the eyebrow there, and it goes in a gradual soft line. Okay, so what I see a lot of new painters do is bring that top wing up too high, okay, too severe. We want that nice soft line there, okay. Then this wing usually has 3 sections, okay. Don't worry about what I'm doing here, it's all going to be covered, so we don't need to worry about that. And then your bottom wing here, again, I see people bringing this down level to the mouth, and that is too severe, especially on a smaller face. What you tend to find is then you're cutting the face in half. What you want to be doing, again, a very, very gentle angle coming down from your focal point, coming down slowly to the apples of the cheeks here, almost level with the nose. Okay, and this wing will be slightly smaller, and we tend to split that into 2 there. Okay, so if you wanted to, on the job, feeling a little bit nervous, you could easily just quickly sketch that out with a soft white. And what I mean by a soft white, again, is like Snazaroo, Superstar, something that you would use for a base. Okay, so you can see already I've got the shape of my butterfly. So I will be using the Fusion palette, the Vivid Rainbow here, and I will also be using a petal sponge. These are great for beginner face painters, and the reason being is, again, they're very good proportion, so you're able to have quite a good control with this one. Okay, so I would recommend having a few of these in your kit. Eventually you'll move on to different sponges and things, but they're great. And also, quick tip, turn them round, they make brilliant Spider-Man eyes. So that's honestly, that'll save you some time. So we're going to choose one of the colours with the rainbow palette. Now this has been designed brilliantly for butterflies in mind. What we tend to do is we tend to take the first few colours and then leave the darker colours to outline. And what I mean by that, I'll quickly show you. We're going to load our sponge. So we're going to use a spray bottle. If you're just starting face painting, we tend to spray our sponge, not dunk it in the water. The reason being is, again, it's hygiene. By doing it this way, we're not recontaminating our water and then potentially spreading germs to different clients. So we're just going to spray our sponge until it's damp. Okay, we don't want any water being squeezed out of there, but it is damp to the touch. Any wetter than that, and what's going to happen is we're going to have very sheer paints. We want them very opaque, and so they sort of pop out. Okay, so I'm going to select, let's use the rainbow, the first one, which is, I believe, the Vivid Rainbow here. So we're going to take our petal sponge and we are going to have it that way. So we'll have the pointy bit picking up the pretty pink at the bottom there, and I'm just going to rub that into the paint, making sure it's equally covered. And let me quickly just show you that the sponge has picked up the different colour paints there. Okay, I've tried to stay away from the blue because that's going to be what we're going to be outlining with the one stroke. Okay, so now we've got the perfect load on the on the sponge even, we're going to take it to the corner of the eye here, and we are going to just give it a little bit of a pat and just work it up to your guideline. That's what that guideline's there for, is just to make sure that you stay within that line. And can you see we've got that top wing? Don't worry about it coming down here, that's not a problem. We're going to sort that out when we outline. And again, with the second eye at the top, just give it a dab, going up to the guideline again, and we've got those nice pretty colours there. Okay, so I'm going to quickly just reload the sponge for my second wings at the bottom, and I'm just going to spray the sponge, and I'm again just going to reload using the same technique I showed you. Just run that through the paints as you would your brush, and we've got the clear definition of colours there. And then we're going to take the point here, and we are going to go to the corner of the eye, and keeping in that guideline that we painted earlier, we're just going to lay that down. Okay, and you can see that the petal sponge is doing all that work for us, okay, with that bottom wing. And again, we're going to repeat that process on the bottom wing here. Okay, and the shape of the petal sponge means that we get consistent wings for both sides. Okay, so the petal sponge has helped us very much there. So we've got the base. If you wanted to at this point, you could spritz a little bit of glitter if you wanted to make it a bit of sparkle. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a one stroke and we're going to outline this area for you. So I'm going to use a 3/4 inch angled brush here. This is from the Zen range, although there are many brushes in the shop. And I think you'll find that as you go on with your painting career, that you'll find that certain brushes suit you better. Firmer bristles, softer bristles, there's a lot of brushes to choose from. So my technique when loading my one stroke brush, let me just quickly show you, is I will pop my brush in the water, and then any excess water, just take that off on the edge of your pot there. Okay, some people have a towel beside you, things like that. I've always found that that works very well for me. So just dip your brush in, take the excess water off, and we're going to go in and we are going to take the blues from this palette here. I'm going to take quite a bit of this lighter blue and a smidge of the darker blue, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 back. For newer painters, I find that that works very well. Eventually your muscle memory will kick in and you'll go backwards and forwards and you won't worry. But if you are finding that you are struggling to load your brush, that 1, 2, 3 one way, 1, 2, 3 the other way, it works very well. And as you can see from the brush there, I've picked up the colours that I wanted, the darker, the lighter blue and the yellow, which is then going to bleed into the rest of the design. Following my guideline, I am going to just cut down to our focal point using that brush, and I'm going to repeat that process 4 times. So let me just make sure I've got enough paint on my brush. So again, 1, 2, and 3 more times. Okay. And the idea with using that is that we're using it in a cutting motion, so we're using the same brush for 2 different jobs, and that just cuts down on our time and reloading time, and it just makes us a lot quicker painter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this top wing and we are going to just wiggle that brush to the first section, and we're going to just cut that down, and then we're going to wiggle the brush here, cut down, and then again we're going to wiggle, and we're going to curl that to the corner of the eye there. Okay, so we've got 3 distinct areas there. If you wanted to, you can see I've just got a little bit of skin showing there. You can use the heel of your brush to just fill that in. Okay, this is why I like painting real time, is that you see the little mistakes that, not necessarily mistakes, but things that with a step-by-step you wouldn't necessarily see, and just the little tricks of cutting in and using the heel of your brush in such a way. It's good to be able to see that. So again, we're going to start there, and we're going to wiggle down and cut, and then again wiggle down and cut. Okay, and then again curl it in there, and use the heel of the brush just to fill any gaps in. Okay, so I'm going to reload my brush. Now if you find that you struggle to paint one side better than the other, a tip I was told when I first started face painting was to paint your non-dominant side first. So what I mean by that is, if you were a righty, paint the left side first, so paint this top wing first, and then once you've done that, hop over and do your stronger side. The idea is that it's a lot easier to recreate your weaker side with your stronger side, if that makes sense. So for a long time I did that until everything came together and I was able to replicate either side. So these bottom wings, like I said, we're going to start on the apple of the cheek here, okay, almost level to the nose, and we're going to flip the brush, always keeping that darker colour on the outside, because that will be a natural outline for us. So I've just created the 2 sections I was talking there. I'll recreate them on the other side for you. So again, starting on the apple of the cheek, we're going to wiggle it down, and we're going to cut, and then we're going to again to the corner of the eye. Okay, and we've got 2 distinct wings here. Okay, now what I would recommend is looking at other people's designs. If you really do admire a certain face painter, maybe look at how they do their butterflies, because this finishing technique here, this is where we come into our own. Some people will curl the wing at the top here to create different flow. Some people like to create curls here at the bottom. There's all different ways to recreate this and really make it your own. So I would recommend looking at different people's styles and maybe seeing what you can do to play around with the design. Okay, so now we've got the outline. On the job, if you were on the job and you got 30 kids deep and you were stressing and you didn't know what you were going to do next, this is sufficient a design. Okay, just a body, some antennae, or even just a pretty piece of bling, you're done. Okay, if I was at a party, I might want to take this a little bit further. So I'm going to take a number 2 round, and this is the impact brush, which we get over here in the UK. It is a very firm round brush, and I find it's really good for a heavy-handed painter such as myself. So I'm going to take the Fusion Paraffin White, and I'm going to just activate my paint. And activate my paint is just a very posh way of us saying we're adding a bit of water to it. And I want to get the consistency here of double cream, so I'm just working the water in to do that. So then we've got a very strong colour to work with, and all I'm going to do is very quickly go around the design with the white just to make that design pop. Okay, This is what I'd probably do for the birthday girl, or if I was at a very small party and I'd got time on my hands, I would look at maybe doing this, okay? But it's not something that I would look at doing if I was at a festival and I've got a line of 30. Depending how quick a painter you are, I suppose. If you're just new and you're a little bit nervous, then I would leave the white outline out, okay? But it's fun to do, and it does take your design to that next level. Okay, so we're just going to do that top wing. And again, just on the tip of the brush, we're just laying that paint down. Okay, so you can see how that just lets that pop a little bit more. So just a few finishing touches now, we're done. I'm going to use a number 6 round, and this is the DaVinci brush. This is a very good artist brush, and it gives you very perfect for teardrops and line work. And I'm going to use the same white paint, and I'm just going to pop a few dots onto these wings because they're a little bit, they're monotonous. So we're going to pop 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 here. Now the secret to getting perfect dots is the consistency of your paint. We want it to be a little bit on the inky side, so less double cream, more inky, and we're really working that brush in there. And then what I do is I roll my brush to create a perfect tip, and then dip that tip into the liquid paint that we've created. And then what that should do is create perfect dots every single time. And then it's down to you what sort of pressure you use to recreate those dots, okay? The harder you press on the brush, the bigger the dot. So we've created a few dots, and here you could now maybe take that number 2 brush, pick up a little bit of that blue at the end of your one stroke, and you could create a couple of antennae just in the middle of the forehead. If you wanted to, you could create a body. I like to use a little bit of bling here just to lift the design further, and because I'm a bit lazy, if I can get around with sticking a bit of bling on, then I will. So pop that in the middle of the design where your focal point is. Remember I said not to worry about that cross at the beginning, and then it's just a quick paint of the lips. If you were on the job, I tend to try not to paint lips. The reason being is purely hygiene. If you're going to paint clients' lips, you want to be using a disposable brush, or even a Q-tip or cotton bud as we call them in the UK, something you can dispose of. The reason being, like I said, it's just purely hygiene, but 9 out of 10 little girls want the lipstick. So I always like to do a pink or a red, something that's on in the middle of your design, okay, one of those colours, just to bring it all back together. I wouldn't think of using one of the colours that's on the outside. I'd always use one of the colours that were closer to the middle, okay? And then just grabbing a little bit of Superstar chunky glitter. Let's go for silver, just because I think it would really stand out on this blue here. And then taking a little bit of adhesive, we're just gonna, here, just those top wings there at the bottom where they're a little bit lonesome, and just pop some chunky glitter there, and maybe a bit here. Again, be very careful. Oh, I've just realised the dots, they're not symmetrical. I did that on purpose. Definitely, that was something I did on purpose. So, thing is with glitter, especially chunky glitter, is to make sure that it is cosmetic grade. Always buy from a reputable company, such as the shop itself. You tend to find that a lot of the time you'll be buying glitter and it could be craft glitter, and we're getting into all sorts of issues then with regards to if it was to get into the eye, we would scratch a cornea. Or we could look at maybe blindness. Your insurance wouldn't be valid because you wouldn't be using the correct product. So always make sure that you get that glitter from a very, very reputable supplier. I know I see a lot of it on certain auction sites where it's buy 3 get 3 free. You know, you get so much glitter, and if it's too cheap, there's a reason. There always is. That's just a little bit of safety advice just at the end. And here we go. This is my on-the-job butterfly. I know it's been a 20-minute video, but I do like to paint in real time. I know I've given you a lot of information as well, but I feel that seeing things in real time and seeing how, you know, simple mistakes such as that, we all do it. Doesn't matter how many years you've got under your belt, we do it. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please feel free to comment underneath if you want to know where I got any of these products from, or if you want to know what they're called again, please comment underneath and we will get that information to you. Thank you. I've been Rachel Green, and thank you for watching. Bye.